In this video, I made a game in 3 days with a chance to win $100. I'll walk you through the design and development process and make sure to watch to the end to see if I won any money. But before we start, I'm a new channel and YouTube tells me that 100% of you are not subscribed, so if you like what you see, go click that red button and help me out. And if not, comment below what type of content you'd like to see me make instead. Anyway, enjoy the video. So I made a game called Come and Go, and if you haven't played it, go ahead and go to zuriel.itch.io/comeandgo or click the link in the description. The game only plays in the computer browser, and make sure you play with the sound on. It only takes 5 to 10 minutes to play through, and come back after the credits roll. I'll see you in a bit. Alright, there's a decent chance you're now thinking, wow, that was a garbage game. Why would you make this? Well, this piece of garbage was submitted to a game jam. If you don't know what a game jam is, it's like a mini marathon of game developers making games in a limited amount of time, like 48 hours or a week or whatever, usually with a theme announced at the beginning of the jam. There's this game jam community called Weekly Game Jam, and they hold week-long game jams, as you can guess, every week. I love this community. I actually made my first published game as part of Weekly Game Jam 56 a couple years ago, but that's besides the point. Come and Go was made for Weekly Game Jam 160, and the theme was Nothing Stays Forever. Having recently been broken up with, I decided to make a game about the fickleness of love, or at least what seems like love to a confused, growing kid like me. And I wanted to try my hand at a heavy, emotional, non-verbal storytelling experience. But wait, if this is a Weekly Game Jam, why did you say you made the game in 3 days? You clickbaiting piece of shit. Well, Weekly Game Jam announces their themes on Fridays at 10 a.m. PST, and submissions close the following Thursday at 10 a.m. PST. I, being a forgetful ditz, didn't check the theme until Sunday, and instead of starting to work on Sunday, I did a pro gamer move called procrastination. Now, I have a job from Monday through Friday, waking up at 6 to 7 a.m. every morning and getting home between 6 to 8 p.m. With the jam deadline being Thursday morning, I had to submit Wednesday night, since I would be at work on Thursday. Basically, I'd only have a few hours on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night to make this game. I knew it would be hard since I'd be tired from work, but I also knew I was up to the challenge. So on Monday, I planned out all the characters, represented by colored blocks, then made all the graphics, which literally just composed of colored boxes and colored hearts. I started up my game project in Unity and first set up my lighting asset. I purchased an asset called 2DDL Pro for $30 about a month ago, and I'm still learning how to use it, but for this game I'm using it to create the lights and shadows you see. Next, I created the player character, which is just a black box, and wrote a simple script to let you control the player movement with WASD or your arrow keys. After that, I added these black bars on the side to narrow the game space, and I wrote a very hacky script to make the camera follow the player. Basically, if the player is in this top area of the camera, then the camera will move up with the player so that the player goes back into the middle, and same thing if the player hits its bottom zone, then the camera will move down with you. Finally, I added a bottom border so the player can't just go below the start, since the entire game will be moving upwards. On Tuesday, I used animations and code to make the heart mechanics in the game. For each colored block character, when you come close to them, either you will develop a heart of their color, they will develop a heart of your color, which is black, or both of you will develop hearts of each other's color. After some time, however, the hearts will decay. Usually this happens after a set timer of 8 seconds, but there are a couple times that your colored heart will not disappear until a certain event triggers, like finding another character. I created a couple of colored block characters, used colored lights to signify their importance, and sprinkled in lots of dull nobodies who were just black boxes like you. After I made 3 characters, I called it a night and left everything to be finished up the next day. So, first things first, I continued where I left off Tuesday and just kept creating more characters for the game. Most of them had very similar mechanics, with some tweaks here and there, making it so some would return your heart and others wouldn't. As you may have noticed from playing the game, except for the blue character towards the end, whenever both you and a character reciprocated hearts, you could never get close enough. I added this mechanic to mimic the emotional and physical distance held by a growing, awkward kid like me. The last character of the game, however, was made special. This green character actually moves forward and brings their light with them. When you meet them and exchange hearts, your own light dims down as you let your guard down and you find yourself centered on them instead. As you move forward, they move with you as you traverse an increasingly tight and difficult environment to navigate. Eventually, the path becomes too tight for them and they lose their heart. You still have a heart though, but without a light, you move into the dark and uncertain future, hoping that your heart will move on eventually. By this point, the gameplay was basically complete, but no audio had been added in yet. I didn't have any time to make my own music, so I went to Ben's Sound and found a royalty-free song called Better Days. I edited the song in Logic Pro X just to make the looping a little more seamless. Then I added the song to the scene and set it to play on loop. Next, I found some royalty-free sound effects to use when you develop a heart and when you lose it. I modified the code that animates the heart appearing and disappearing to play the respective sound effects alongside the animation. Finally, I created a block of moving text which spawns when you hit the end of the game, which is basically the credits. I also made the player automatically move up when the credits spawn, and the game was completed. I compiled a build for HTML5 so you can play the game online, created an itch.io game page, uploaded the game, then did some final play testing and submitted to the jam. Triumphant and finished, I went to sleep and focused on promos the next day. Alright, this is cool and all. You made a game, congrats. But what about that $100? So this weekly game jam is a special one. It's a competitive jam with a $100 prize. For a week after submissions, we rate each other's games on a 5-star system for these 4 categories: creativity, visual experience, audio experience, and game mechanics. So, I got playing and reviewing. Treehouse was a cool puzzle game with cartoony graphics that were visually appealing. Guacamole was a fun arcade game with awesome music. Saphira's Sand Escape was a unique endless runner with really smooth controls. Swadade was an interesting short story type experience. But there was one game that really caught my eye. Lifespan Candle is this cute and fun puzzle platformer where this little melting candle needs to set its goal fire with a light before it runs out of wax. The concept, visuals, level design, and music were all superb, and I knew my game stood no chance. Eventually, the rating period ended and the results were released. The overall #1 rated game was, surprise surprise, Lifespan Candle. This means Lifespan Candle won the $100. But that's not the end of the story. My game, Come and Go, ranked number 8 out of 73 overall. But these ratings were made per category, and to my surprise, Come and Go ranked number 1 in the audio experience category. I guess I got lucky with my last minute music and sound effects choices. So, in the end, I didn't win the $100, but I did make my first emotional storytelling game, rather successfully in my opinion, and did pretty well in the ratings. My game and all other games I showed in this video can be found in the description below. I can't release the complete source of my game because of the paid 2D asset, but if you really want to see the specifics of this game, I can always make tutorials for various aspects. Otherwise, thanks so much to Weekly Game Jam for this opportunity, and I'll see you in the next video.